Hey everyone, I'm Christian, that's Corey, and we are Super Kami Guru, and we are now reviewing the One Piece manga. Woo! Gumma Gumma no, review to the face! So let's sit tight and let's get started on this week's manga chapter. Wow, we jumped in on a pretty powerful episode. Doflamingo's brother seems to be dead.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. By the way, I just want to mention before we begin, this is much easier for Christian to process because Christian has been following the manga for a long period of time.
Secretly, I've been reading it, but One Piece is just different than Naruto. I think we both enjoyed Naruto because it had big panels of action and it was very action-oriented, but One Piece has so many characters, and I in no way want to say they get bogged down, but there's just a ton going on, a lot more word bubbles competing for the space of the manga, and Corey and I both agree, the anime is actually way more enjoyable or way more consumable than the manga sometimes.
And that's exactly why I've always stuck with the anime version of One Piece. It's what I started with too, so it's also what I'm most comfortable with. But, you know, obviously you guys have been asking us to do the manga for a long period of time, and I just had to do a lot of catching up over the course of the last 2 weeks and reading all this manga and trying to keep the things I knew about in the anime review secret, because now obviously I know everything that's happening.
But to be honest, how many people already do that? That review the One Piece?
A ton of people.
Everyone does that.
And, you know, I'm still going to review the anime. I still cannot wait for the anime version just because I love the animation and especially the voices. But one thing that I do think is kind of cool is, as I've been reading the manga and catching up with it, is that it's also sort of brought back that exciting feeling of, like, waiting for the chapter to come out every week. Kind of like with Naruto.
It's like scratching that itch for you.
You know, and I love Bleach. I'm always ready for a brand new chapter of Bleach, but it always needs a companion. And now that Naruto's gone, I think One Piece has really filled that void perfectly. And now that I'm caught up, I'm really excited. I'm still loving Dressrosa arc as much as I was before. Even more so now that they've actually introduced Doflamingo's brother, Rosinante, who has really just made this arc seem a little more important, especially for Law, because they've finally gotten into his backstory, and it's sort of all like been boiling up to this one moment in this week's chapter, where we really get to see how crazy Doflamingo is.
And one of the things I really like about this backstory is, obviously we knew Law and Doflamingo had an intertwined history, but they're kind of getting both backstories out of the way at the same time.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of glad they're doing that, because they are committing a lot of weeks to this backstory. It's not like, bam, flashback of family, bam, someone dying, bam, this is why I'm the way I am. You know, they're taking their time with this. And I think that that's also happening because when they get back, they've got to get to the real fights, like get serious. So they're not going to just waste their time with these flashbacks to go to the next big thing. They're really going to build all this up and set these emotional fights up, you know, because they're going to be very emotional. There's going to be a lot going on because taking down Doflamingo is going to be a huge thing for the One Piece world. That's going to be huge. But let's get into the chapter. So this week starts off with Doflamingo. That's the one thing. You guys, I am not good with these names. One Piece names are interesting.
You know what? I'm better with One Piece names, but that's because I think they're simpler. Like, you know, Luffy,
Those
Zoro,
are simple. Those are simple.
Brooke, Frankie. How can you mess up Frankie?
You can't mess up Frankie.
But then every once in a while you get a character like Fujitora.
Yeah,
you know, comes in, you're like, I gotta scratch my head a little bit.
I think the main thing is, like, I was so used to saying Naruto's names out loud, so I'm not, like, used to saying One Piece names out loud yet. So give me a little while to get good at that, but, you know, it's just going to take time. But so Doflamingo put out the birdcage over this island, and he found out that his brother was the traitor and was a Marine. And that's kind of the main focus of this week's chapter, is him just facing up with his brother and his brother saving Law. And what did you take from the beginning, that flashback, that really emotional flashback?
One, Doflamingo is insane as a kid. I think he's way more crazy as a kid, and a lot of that does have to do with the fact that he's not as mature and he's not, you know, the crazy killer that he is when he's an adult. Like that scene where his father is embracing his brother and Doflamingo's just sitting there with a gun to his head, like freaking out. And then he just kills his father right there. And again, that just shows how insane he is and that he's willing to kill a family member in order to basically restore his bullshit honor. But again, that's what makes Doflamingo just such an crazy villain. And then it all leads up to that scene where Rosinante decides to hide Law within that treasure box. And he actually uses his abilities to actually make it stay quiet so that no matter what Law does, he can't say anything. And then it's basically just Rosinante and Doflamingo pointing their guns at each other. And Doflamingo, in his typical shit-eating grin ways, is just like, you're not going to shoot me, man. You're just like father. You're a weakling. And then it all ends with him just getting blasted at point-blank range. Freaking Otsuru and her freaking Marines are getting ready to come in and blow the place up. Law is screaming into the sky, and I love that final scene where the snow is coming down on Rosinante and covering his body. And you know, there's only been so many characters in the series, and it's always in backstories. It's never like what's going on currently, where people get shot and they die. You know, you look at a character like Law, where Doflamingo fucking
shot him 37 times,
like fucking RoboCop, and he still survived. But like always, if it's a backstory, if someone gets shot, it's over.
Yeah,
and you know, I don't think Rosinante himself was like a powerhouse type character, especially because, let's face it, his devil fruit powers were not exactly meant for, you know, being a bruiser.
But he was capable.
Yeah, he was extremely capable. You know, his abilities made him a great spy, but that's the other thing. His dedication to the Marines and everything is honestly really what ended up killing him at the end of the day. And there's also, like, there are flashbacks within flashbacks of flashbacks. Like, they show that one where you get to see Rosinante actually meeting Sengoku, the leader of the Marines at the time. That's when he joined with them. And also just all of Doflamingo's goons were also really great this week. They're always intimidating and just absolutely hilarious looking.
Yeah, they're very interesting. Doflamingo family is it's just an interesting group of pirates. I think one of the most interesting. And we've also got to know them really well, so their personalities are well known, and they're all very different. That's obviously what One Piece is really good at, is building up brand new characters. It's like the never-ending world that just keeps giving. If that's the one thing I really enjoy about One Piece, it's the world building.
Definitely.
It's great.
You know,
each island.
And everything always seems to fit, too. Like, every single time, like, a brand new arc starts, I'm almost like, how does this even work? How come no one ever brought this up before? But the world of One Piece is just so large that you're willing to accept all of that. And, you know, obviously, the big thing to take away from this chapter is the death of Doflamingo's brother, Rosinante. And just, I can't believe, like, how nastily dedicated he was to helping out Law. Like, he had almost no reason to help out that kid, you know, and he stuck his neck out for him so much.
He told him all of his secrets. He sacrificed, in the end, he ended up sacrificing his life. Interesting, but I think that it also helps show how evil Doflamingo is, because his brother was such a stark contrast. Because Doflamingo is almost so evil, he doesn't even have a reason to be. He's just like, I'm just evil. I can kill everyone around me. Bang, bang, bang.
I just always figured he's just really entitled. You know, he just feels that since he's, you know, a member of the Celestial Dragons, or used to be,
ex-member,
you know, that he deserves that. He feels that it's his and it was all taken away from him. But, you know, I guess the biggest reason that Rosinante decided to help out Law is a lot of, you know, he found out that he was a D.
I think that may be it, too.
And, you know, the fact that he's a Marine, and, you know, just, he's like, we have to protect this is important. And, you know, the whole, like, Will of D thing is still a complete mystery in the show. You know, he talked about it vaguely, but
the killer of kings or gods or something?
Yeah, like, the enemy of God, like, they barely still get into it. Maybe it's tied to One Piece. It probably is. It's probably also tied to the devil fruits. But, again, all of that stuff is, you know, stuff they're probably going to say for, like, the finale of One Piece when we get there in the next, you know, century.
By the time we have kids.
But still, I liked this chapter. It looks like we're finally getting ready to be done with the flashbacks, and we can finally cut back to the battle with Luffy and Doflamingo, which is awesome.
Yes.
Which I'm really excited for. There's so many other cool battles that are going on right now. And, you know, there's so much that I haven't had a chance to talk about, because I haven't been...
I feel like we can do a video about that, but we could just talk all day in this video if we're not careful. But yeah, you guys, thank you for watching this review. I really liked this chapter. I think it was really emotional. If you've been following the manga, this was a big pivotal point, and I think that also this could be getting back to the current time in One Piece. Hopefully we get back to that. And I want to give it a 5 out of 5. Very powerful.
I agree. It was a very, very good chapter. A lot of good emotion, action, and I loved everything at the very end with the death of Rosinante and Law screaming into the sky, Shawshank style. But I'm also really excited that we're finally going to start getting back to the main battle at hand in Dressrosa, because that's just really exciting.
Also, you had one little prediction I want to talk about quickly. You still think it's going to be Luffy to take down Doflamingo. I think it's going to be Luffy and Law.
It would make sense for it to be Law, but at the end of the day, the final blow, I still think is just going to go to Luffy. Like, I think Law will help out.
Maybe Law's going to be the one that, you know how there's always a lot of talking? Like, you're wrong, battle of ideals. I think Law's going to take the battle of ideals side of the battle, and then Luffy's going to take the punch you in the face side of the battle.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt Luffy's going to be the physical one in this fight. There's no doubt, because Luffy, no offense Luffy, you're not really a man of words so much as you're a much better man of action. Yeah. And I think that's why you're going to be the one to take down Doflamingo. So I'm excited for all the other fights that are going on. Pika versus Zoro.
Yeah.
Fucking holy crap. The fact that Pika has a massive sword just makes sense, you know, because, you know, Zoro always ends up fighting the swordsman.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we have Usopp, who has the highest bounty on him. I love that. That is so awesome.
Yeah,
and I just want to say this before we go. Usopp has hockey. When I read that, flipped out. Holy shit, Usopp is the man. That really just shows like how far the other characters are coming, and I think it's only a matter of time before all the characters get some form of hockey that helps them out in their special abilities. Even Nami, even if it just makes her boobs bigger.
Or just black. She gets armament hockey on her chest. Nothing? Okay, cool.
And that's how we're ending our first review of the One Piece manga.
Let us know what you thought of this review. We know it's a little all over the place. We'll tighten it up as we go. The other thing is, if you have any discussion videos for One Piece that you want us to talk about, let us know. We're looking for more One Piece content to get started. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. You can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. We spend a lot of time and resources making sure those are fun outlets. We post a lot of related articles, so please go check those out. Like and follow us, and please subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, the best way to support the channel in an easiest way. And we also have an Amazon link, so check that out, because if you buy anything through Amazon with that link, it ends up helping us out, and it's just a great way to help us out without even having to do anything extra. So thank you guys. Have a good one.